Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm out in the garage and today we're going to work on part 2 of our Neo Geo MVS. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're out in the garage and I got the Neo Geo out of the system again. We've been playing it, running it fine in AES mode, but with the Universe BIOS on there since the previous video. I'll stick a card up for that now if you haven't seen that one. But in the previous video I put the Universe BIOS on there, got it all up and running, but I couldn't boot into the MVS mode, so losing a couple of the features on there. So I've ordered some RAM chips, they've arrived. We're going to swap 2 of them out on the backup RAM side. I'll try and show you where they are now. Pull that out. They're kind of just underneath this bit of plastic here, so 2 chips in there. They're surface mounted, so we're going to need to use the hot air gun on them, reflow the solder on there, take those ones off and put 2 new chips back on. I've not used the hot air gun in a while, so it's going to be a little bit interesting and it's going to be a bit of fun to do it. I'm still learning as I'm going along on a lot of these things, so fingers crossed I won't mess this one up and we'll get a running system once we've done those chips. Cool. Okay, so I put the 2 new RAM chips on and I put a new battery holder on with a new battery on it. I didn't take the old battery off when I disconnected the first RAM chip, which is a bit naughty of me because I could have blown it up, but it all went well. It all came off quite nice and easy. I've reflowed these. I didn't put any extra solder on them. They didn't seem to need it and they've held quite nicely, so I'll continuity test them now just to see everything's good, but it all looks nice and solid. There's no loose pins. So I don't think it needed any extra solder or any additional flux in there. I'll give it a clean up once the board's cooled down. It's still a little bit warm at the moment. And then I'll put it back together and we'll test it in the system. Cool. Okay, so I built it back together. I put the metal slug, it's a bootleg game in it anyway, so if it blows it's not too much of a loss. But plugged it back into the jammer harness, a bit dark in here, but I'm going to power it off now. And we're going to see if we're getting any thing coming out of it. Okay. Oh, look at this. So we're still getting a backup RAM error. It must be those other 2 RAM chips. Okay. Let's double check that it works still. Force it to AES. Yeah, it's working fine in AES. Okay, back to the bench. Okay, so swapping out those 2 chips didn't work on the backup RAM side. I thought anything across that white line was the backup RAM, anything to the left of it was on the main board. But we've got 2 other RAM chips, I got 3 other RAM chips I got spare. So I'm going to swap out the other 2 chips, see how that works. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging and see what else is up with this board. Maybe I'm stuck with AES mode on this one. They're fairly cheap boards to buy, but I want to get this one up and running if I can. So yeah, let's do the other 2 RAM chips, see where we get to. Okay, so here we go again. All 4 RAM chips changed now. So I plugged it back into the jammer harness. We go, switch them on. Got a red light down here, it's good. Will we get anything on the screen without having a backup out RAM error? Load in. No! Sake! Oh, hardware test failed. Backup RAM 55555EF. Oh, so I changed all 4 of those up. I'll have to check whether they're all soldered in properly, but I tested them and they look pretty solid. I've given them a bit of a nudge and all the pins seem right in place. Let's test it, make sure it still works in there. Yes. Yes. Okay, so I haven't broken my system. It's just not working with this backup RAM. Okay, going to have a look into this because I've changed all 4 of them now. See if there's something else that could be causing it. Okay, so I've done all 4 RAM chips and I'm still getting that backup RAM error. I've got a couple more things. I've just been looking online and there's another chip down in the bottom right here that I'm going to take off. Once I've ordered that part in, I'm going to wait for that to come. I don't want to chop this video up too much. I don't want to do a part 3. I want to try and get it working. Hopefully, if that chip works, then we've got a working system. If it doesn't work, I don't know, back to the drawing board. I don't know how far we can take this system, whether it's a damage somewhere else on the system or whether it is these chips. So we'll give that other chip a go. It's fairly low cost. I've got to order a pack of 5 by the look of it, so I'll order them in. As soon as that arrives, we'll flow that one on and we'll see how it goes from there. Cool. Took that one off and I wasn't meant to. This is the only one I need to replace. I just ordered them online. So that one I think is a different chip, and I just ordered a pack of 5 of these just to replace this one. So we'll swap this chip out, see where we get to. In the meantime, I'm going to waiting for this to arrive, so I'm going to start stripping off some of this hot glue, especially around these capacitors. I'm going to strip that hot glue off. I'm going to write down all the capacitor numbers or the values on them and see if I got them in my kit, and if I do, once we've got this replacement chip in, if that gets it up and running, then we're going to swap all the caps out at the same time. Cool. Okay, so I just removed the glue off all the caps. There's bloody loads of it there. There's still little bits on some of these ones, just holding them in place, but we'll get to that when we do the recap on it in a couple of days' time. What I've got to do now is try and get a piece of paper and just write down all of these cap values. There's so many of them, and I think hopefully these littler ones around here will all be the same value. I'll write all that down. I'll have a look at my cap kit over at the other side of the garage, see if I got enough here. If not, I could order some in. But I'm going to wait for this chip to arrive anyway, so once that chip's arrived, we'll put that one in. I want to give the whole thing a good clean afterwards. These pins on this edge connector need a good clean up as well. So yeah, everything needs a clean, and then we'll do the cap and everything else afterwards. Cool. Okay, so I've got all the caps, as you can see. I've got plenty here. There's lots in these. Hopefully it's enough to do everything we need. So I've got 4.7 UF 50 volts, so it's okay that we're going higher in the voltage. Can't go lower, but we can go higher as long as we're keeping the capacitance right. And we've got plenty of those, so I need 10 of those, more than 10 in there. 100 UF 16 volts, we got them spot on, and we only need 4 of those. Got plenty in there. And we need 470 UF 16 volts, spot on with those. And I need 6 of those, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, about 10 in there. So cool. So I've got the capacitors that I can swap out as well. I'm wondering whether I should do the cap first and then wait for the RAM chip to arrive and put that on the last. I was going to do it the other way around, but I'm a little bit impatient, and I've got all these now, so I might as well do it. So I'm changing my mind. I'm going to stick into it now, and I'm going to rip all these caps out and get on with doing it. So yeah. I'll time lapse that so you can see what's going on. I'm also going to cover this over. Tutti UK told me off for not covering it over, so I'm going to cover that over in a second. So Tutti, you'd be happy that I'm not going to flash my ROM or wipe my ROM while it's in the sunlight all the time. So yeah, I'll get that covered over for you, mate. Okay, so replace all the capacitors now. What an absolute nightmare of a job. These big ones especially, the ground on them, this board must be sucking up so much heat. The ground leg was just taking forever to get the through holes clear. So I managed to do it, got it all sorted, got all the capacitors done. So there's another one up here, another one over here. Got them all swapped out, so that's good. And now, my replacement chip has come for here. So I'm going to get the hot air gun out, get it heated up, get some flux on this, and we'll get that reseated. Hopefully, now that we've got the caps done, we've got these 4 chips done, and we get this one done. I put that one back on because that was meant to be on. I didn't mean to take that one off. Fingers crossed we'll be up and running again. So let me get one of these on and we'll go from there. Cool. Okay, so all caps back in, all looking good, all the RAM chips back in, our new one flowed into place. That went on quite nicely, and I've cleaned it up with some isopropyl. So next thing to do is put it back together and give it a test. If it doesn't work now, then I don't know where to go next. I'm gonna have to start having a look online and see what else I can do. But fingers crossed that all of those chips now changed over. I don't think those 4 needed doing, but it was probably this little one here. But we've done it now, so they're good for the future, so no need to swap them back, and I'll keep those other chips just as spares. All the caps were in pretty decent condition, they weren't leaking or anything, but I wanted to change them over anyway. So yeah, we're just future-proofing this board, and hopefully, once I've given it a proper clean, some of this edge connector up here needs, oh, well, not the edge connector, the cartridge slot needs a bit of a clean. I'll do that now. I'll clean the edge connector down here. This should be really nice to go and should last a lot longer than my cabinet now. So yeah, let's put it back together, give it a final clean, put it back together, and then we'll test it in the cab. Cool. Okay, so we're all back in the cabinet. I've plugged him back into the John harness, and moment of truth, let's power them on. We've got a red LED in there, which is good. Will it give us this RAM error, or will it give us anything? I totally screwed it. God, this moment when the monitor's warming up is... No! Right, well, it's still working, so my caps have worked, which is good. But it's still giving me an error. I think it's... Man. Backup RAM error. Still, and I've changed all 5 chips now. Okay, so I'm going to need to have a look online, see what else it is that could be causing this, because what I've changed is what exactly I thought it would be. But I have no idea on this now, so let's try and resume it into arcade mode. No, we just keep getting back to this. But if we go into a yes, is it going to work? Yeah, so we're working back in AES mode. I've got no sound though. So, I'm pretty sure I can't press down now, so I'm going to die. So my character's always facing up, see I can't press down. And notice when I put metal slug in as well, he's always shooting up. So something's gone wrong with the board. Whether when I've cleaned the pins, I've cleaned something and left something on there and it's shortened something, I don't know. But it's always pressing up now, so I can't go down, can't go down here. I'm stuck in this corner now. Probably can't see with the lights, but I'm stuck there. I can press a button, but I've got no sound. No sound effects. The only thing I noticed, I was getting some sounds, I was getting some like background sounds and things, so when it says like hurry up and things like that, they were coming up when I was playing Metal Slug earlier. So there is sound on here, so the sound is working, but it's missing obviously the main sounds, it's only got some, so I don't know whether I've broken something when I've done the recap, or something else has gone wrong, whether it was linked to these memory chips, I don't know, but I'm in a worse position now than I was when I started, so... And I need to take this board back out. Oh, there you go. No hurry up. No sound on that one. Let me get the Metal Slug game in here just so I can show you what the sound is. That there is some sound working. Okay, so Metal Slug's in. No sounds at all. But I noticed if I leave it... Well, first of all, you'll see that he points straight to the sky. And shoots up. And I press right and he still shoots up. But when I get close I can swipe him with my... and knife him, but he's just pointing up all the time. But if I leave it a couple of seconds, I think when it comes up with like hurry up or whatever up here, I'm sure I get sound. So whenever that go comes up, I'm getting sound, but I'm not getting any gameplay sound, nothing on the, nothing else. I'm just getting that go. So I know the board's outputting sound, but I've lost something. Okay, so I've got it back out of the system. I'm going to do a bit of testing now. So I've watched some YouTube videos, I've had a look around, had a read around, and I think these two are meant to be working in parallel and these two are meant to be working in parallel, but I think the data lines on the bottom of these RAM chips also should have continuity between them. So if I test this pin here to that pin there, we should have continuity, and to there, and to there, and I think all the way around these should match. I'm going to do that now quickly just to test all the connections, make sure the information can flow between the chips. So I'm going to test this one to this one to this one, just to check it and see if everything's right, and then we'll go from there, I suppose. So, you know, that one's working. Okay, so I've been through and tested a load of those, and some of them aren't making as good a contact as I'd like. So what I wouldn't mind doing now, I'm going to redo them. I'm going to redo all 5 of these chips. Just to be 100% certain, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift all 5 of them off, put them aside, clean it up. I'm going to redo the solder onto all of the pads, and then I'm going to put them back on, reflow them with the heat gun, and give it another go from there. Cool. Okay, so 6 chips are off, the 4 RAM chips that we put on recently. Then I'm going to flux up all of these points, and I'm going to reflow some solder across all these pads and try and not flatten anything, not lift anything, not short anything. But I've not done this on so many of these before, so it's a bit of a learning curve for me, but I want to give it a go. So yeah, let's crack on, clean this up, get on with it, and get done. Cool. Okay, so whilst I'm letting the board cool down, it's still quite warm at the moment. I'm just going to continuity check these because we had a couple of dodgy connections here. Yeah, they're all connecting nice now, and I should be able to do the same down here. Maybe so. Yeah. Okay, so they seem to be working across it both ways. On that chip to that chip, that chip to that chip seem to be fine. I've given them all a bit of a wiggle test. All the pins seem to be nice and secure down. Everything seems to be into the right place. There doesn't seem to be any shorts. All looking pretty good. Okay, so we are back in the system again. We plugged it in and we got metal slug plugged back in. Let's power it up. Get LED, which is good. What error message are we going to get this time? Oh my god, we got sound and it's gone straight in. No way. I've only gone and done it. We got sound and we've gone straight in. No menu, gone straight into the system. Absolutely amazing. No AES mode. Absolutely chuffed with that. Yeah, over the moon. But then let me turn this down. Woo. Okay, I'm absolutely over the moon. Look at this. Left, right, up, down, all working as it should. All sorted, up and running. I'm really chuffed that I got that to work. Changing all those 5 chips, I don't know which one was a faulty chip, but they were fairly low cost to change out. Redone the caps, I honestly thought I screwed it up and I lost all the sound as well. I thought this was ready for the bin, but yeah, we've recovered it and we got it up and running. They're fairly low cost systems. They're about £30–40 for the 1 slot MVS, but that wasn't the point. I wanted to get it up and running. I'm so pleased I did. So the solution for me, I think, was reflowing those pads. The new chips that I was putting on them, I don't think was having a proper connection, and I was getting a couple of continuity issues when I was checking them across. So I probably could have got away with just reflowing those 4, redoing the pads on them without doing that extra chip, but you live and learn, and it didn't cost me a lot, and all the new caps and everything. This is future proof for me to play in the cab now for the long term. I've got a good collection of MVS cards and I'm planning on getting more in the future, so watch this space. Maybe we'll do some gameplay at some point. Thank you for watching. As always, if you've got any comments, I've probably done a million things that people are probably shouting at and would do differently, but if you've seen anything that you would do differently, or you've got any comments, please leave them in the comments down below. Give the video a like as always. If you're not subscribed, please click the button down below. Give us a subscription. It really helps the channel. It boosts my ego a little bit, knowing that people are watching the content and engaging with it, and I'll make more content in the future. Cool, thanks for watching and catch you soon.